Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition. Bitcoin mostly sideways this week. Some FUD flying around about potential bills in Congress causing mischief in the crypto area. Gary Gensler of the SEC is on the rampage again. He really hates crypto. I just wonder if like a girlfriend dumped him and she liked crypto or something. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Even the CFTC, the Commodities Fund, is getting involved. But overall, we're up this week, so Bitcoin showing its resilience. Let's go to the chart. Okay, should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart. Can I get an amen? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so I adjusted the range a couple of weeks ago. So the bottom is 20,200, the top's 32K. Thought we'd hit 30 by the end of the month, didn't quite make it. We shot up yesterday to 29.2, but didn't hold. So closed just above 28. Today's looking good for a close above 28, but we're not for sure. Just up a few percentage points in the last 7 days since our last Friday Zoom. On Ethereum, broke through 1800, closed just under yesterday, and potentially will close above 1800 today. So seeking its goal of breaking through the $2,000 barrier. I haven't seen that since June, I believe, June of last year. Yeah, August, sorry. August was the top of our range then. So we'll see what's happening with the two big daddies, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Any comments, questions, or prognostications regarding the two biggest crypto projects?
A while ago, I showed you guys that ETH chart with the uptrend on there. It's been riding it all the way up ever since January 9th. It's still underneath it. It breaks a little bit of it and then comes right back down.
So let's draw that in. Oop, wrong one. That's the one. All right, we'll start from January 1st.
Yeah, they that
Is that what you're
uptrend.
talking about?
It actually starts way back in 19, I think it is. It's on the top side of it, not the back side of it. The top side.
Oh,
So you'd have
like
to
up
move your
here?
line. Um,
I'm not following you.
yeah, do you want me to just show you that chart? Same chart.
Yeah, hang on. Got to stop my share to enable yours. And go ahead.
Okay. This that chart I showed you.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Yeah.
It was back here when I showed it to you, and I was talking about this being filled in, this
Okay.
big volume gap.
Mm-hmm.
And look at it. It's still from way back here.
Oh, from
And I think this is why
2019,
we're
from
having
19.
such a hard.
I thought you meant January 19 of this year. You meant January of 19.
Right,
All
right.
right.
That's when it
Misunderstood
started.
things.
Actually, 17, May 22nd of 17 is actually when it started this upward trend.
Yeah, I
It's
remember.
been it's been riding it like I don't know how many times, but I think that's why we're having such a hard time because this upward trend is so strong
Mm-hmm.
that it's having a hard time breaking through it, breaking above
Yeah.
it. I mean, look at that.
Okay, so you're showing it as resistance
Yep.
and struggling to break above that diagonal line. it's obvious I prefer horizontal lines for resistance,
Well,
but
yeah,
a
I
lot of traders do what you're doing, with diagonals, and Sheldon the Sniper, who I read his newsletter, does the same thing. But as a day trader, I haven't paid that as much attention as, support and resistance and
yeah, I
horizontal
mean,
lines. But
I look at the horizontal resistance too, and the downward resistance. I mean, it broke this, and then it broke this downward resistance, but then it's using it as support now,
okay,
where in the past it was resistance. I mean, look at it, just went bounced off the upward, bounced off the downward, broke through it. Now it's using it as support.
yeah, it's got a kind of decision point here.
Right, right. If we break through this, I think we're gonna shoot up. Well, we got some resistance, but I think we're gonna shoot up to 20, about 24, 20, 2,500.
hmm Yeah, yeah. If we can break that 2000 and close above it, then
Right, right.
we should be
Because we got a little resistance right here at uh, uh,
right
over
around
20,
2000. Yeah,
right around 2,000. But once we break that, um, it's gone.
yeah,
It's going up 25.
yeah. There's not much resistance at all. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm gonna kick you out. And any other comments or questions about the market overall before we go on to Altcoin Alert, see if we can find some trades for later today and this weekend? All right. Let's go back to my share and altcoin alerts. Okay, I've got the altcoin radar clicked as opposed to the dashboard. I want all the information. I'm going to use these columns in various ways. We have some new people in the Slack group for Altcoin Alert. My approach to this is a little different. I had some experience as a day trader before I got involved with Altcoin Alert. So I use this to identify what coins are moving or in play, and then I apply my fairly simple to intermediate technical analysis to those coins to set alerts and get good entries. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and that's what we talk about on my Monday and Friday Zooms. So the first sort I like to do is the AA score. And I know from past experience, ION is hard to find. I mean, these numbers are ridiculous. I think it's maybe on MetaMask or something like that, but I trade on larger exchanges. So this was down 50%, I think, earlier today. Now it's up almost 300. This is a real carnival. So I'm going to pass on that one. Who knows what it's going to do next? I was looking at Rocket Pool. I hadn't looked at it before, but it's recently been added to Bybit. Which is a derivatives exchange I like to trade on. It's also on Coinbase if you want to trade the spot token. The AA score is at 78.3. I prefer 80 and above, but I will look at something in the high 70s. And what this is telling us, what Altcoin Alert is telling us, is this coin has a 78.3% chance of going up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. I had a dialogue with Pizza Mind, Aaron Malone, earlier this week, and he said he corrected that a little bit. He said anything 80 or above on the AA score has a 70% chance of going 3% or higher in that time frame. So in the past, it was more along the lines of the AA score. Now Aaron's saying it's 70% for 80 and above. Regardless, it's showing bullish close to 80. I think that's in play, so I'm going to go look at it. And I just happen to have the chart handy. Let me start on the 5-minute chart. First thing I look for is do I have a 1, 2, 3 dip in progress? If you're on my email list, you should have seen that training at some point from iCoin Pro. The 1, 2, 3 dip is one of my favorite strategies for entering, but we don't have anything like that as a setup at the moment. On the 5-minute chart, a pretty simple option for getting better entries is to try to identify support and resistance. And by support, I'm just looking for where the candles are clumped at the moment. So I'll go ahead and mark some support areas. Here's one I see. Here's another one I see. And here's another one I see. You know, it's not perfect, more of an art than a science. But you see all these touches on the 5-minute chart on this line. It breaks through briefly and comes back. It seems to be like a magnet. So we're pretty close to one of the areas now, the 61.94 cents. And another area here is around 57.5 cents. Down here, 52.9 cents. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these. And I'm gonna show you how to do a price alert. You just click roughly where you want it to go. Say right about here. Add alert. I like round number, so I'm gonna click that up to 6180. And then in my alert name, I usually put the information source so I can track that. So this is the AA score. And click create, and you're good to go. Okay, now for a slightly more advanced approach, I like to go to the 15-minute chart and put alerts on certain indicators. So one of those indicators is a super trend. The trend is your friend. It's a pretty simple download from TradingView Indicators. Click here, type in SuperTrend, and I think I've got this one here by Kivanich. The one by Everget is also very similar. They just have slightly different settings. And this is usually the ATR period of 10. I've marked that down to 5. Had a little better results that way, but you might want to mess around with that, see what works best for you. And my favorite thing about SuperTrend is it's alert friendly. I don't want to sit here and stare at my computer all day and wait for things to happen on a chart. So I can set an alert. I can right click on here, add an alert on SuperTrend. And if you're trading spot, you're going to go with the buy option. If you're more experienced and you're trading on leverage, you might want to go with the direction change. This is what I usually do to trade both directions. Or if you think the market's going to turn, go with your sell. But super trend direction change is what I use the most. I think I already have an alert for this, so that's how you do that. And all these alerts that you see here have done pretty well, with one exception. This one was a disaster. If you took this short, you got toasted. So you probably get stopped out, or if you're ladder buying, then on low leverage, you'd survive. If you're 10x or above, you probably got liquidated. But this one's been in play lately. I've been trading this a lot this week. SXP, it used to be Swipe, something else now, Solar, I think. So yeah, that's how you do that. And I've got these other indicators here for confirmation on trend alerts. So for example, on this one here, that did not do well. The Stochastic RSI did cross over, but we got really no action at all from the impulse MACD. So using those as confirmation, the MACD would have ruled that trade out, so you wouldn't have taken it. But when this buy triggered, maybe you don't take that one right away, but eventually the MACD crosses right about here, and you can use that confirmation, set that as a secondary alert, and then you're off to the races right about here. So again, if you want to set an alert on this one, the impulse MACD, you can use a regular MACD. It's a little bit easier. This is one I've been testing for a while. I want the impulse MACD to cross the impulse MACD signal. So that's how you do that. That's sure, and I call that a confirmation alert. So there you go on that one. Okay. So that's the super trend. Any questions on that before we move on to divergence? Okay, these are my two divergence indicators. Divergence is a disagreement between the price action and the indicators. It has a predictive value. It is contrarian. This divergence from any indicators does repaint, so I've got a sort of a confirmation divergence indicator that does not repaint. Unfortunately, the non-repainting divergence indicator is not alert friendly where this one is. So as you can see, all the bullish divergences did really well. Well, these three did not. This one did okay. So, and most people are gonna be trading on leverage on this. Let's say you took this short at 10x leverage, you got out at 3%, it dropped 3%, so that would be a 30% profit. That's a great day trade. If you're not on leverage and you're trading spot, then you go with your bullish divergence. The most recent one was here from this morning, and we had a really nice move, 7.5%. So both of those would have been good trades. If you want to use alerts, right click, and you're going to want to choose positive divergence, and once per bar close, that's important. And that'll set the alert all day until you turn it off. This little warning is warning you that it repaints. That means that as it gets new data, it might change. So, for example, maybe this originally triggers here, and then it gets new data, and then it moves over here. So when you back test, it kind of throws it off. But I still think it's worth it to use this divergence from any indicators version 4 with the backup here on the non-repaint one. And this is the divergence is what I've used most of the week. I've been just trying to scrape 1 to 3% on my trades and had some success with that this week. So any questions on divergence? Okay. Then the last one I like to talk about, I haven't used it as much lately. Maybe I should use it more. It's a stochastic RSI. Make that my primary alert function, and then match it up with the impulse MACD. And what I like to do on the long side is have something dip below this 20 value, which is considered oversold, and then start to come back. So I get a dip, and then it starts to, retrace off that dip. And those can be really good entries. And I'll show you an example of where that happens. All right, so here, the blue line dips, it crosses over right about here. The impulse MACD is not in agreement. Actually, that doesn't cross till here, which is a little bit late. It's the downside of any MACDs. It can be late. So it crosses here, and then you get in, you catch this. But had you just gone off the stochastic RSI, you would have been in much earlier with a much better trade. But it can also deceive you. So it can get you in something like this. See, it crosses down, it comes back up. Just kidding. Then it drops. Now you're down 16%. Which for a lot of people would be a stop loss. If you're with the market generally trending up, I do additional purchases, what I call ladder buys. Some people call it, additional purchasing or dollar cost averaging. I would have done that 2 or 3 times in this scenario. Eventually the trade would have come back. You know, I would have been in a little bit over a day, and probably would have broke even on my first position and made really nice profits on my second and third. Can be a little risky, especially in a down market. So, you know, I've always had a battle with other traders. Ladder buying versus versus stop losses. I've been using stop losses on shorts and ladder buying on longs lately. So okay, that's the stochastic RSI. Any questions on that approach? Oh, how do we set an alert on that? That's easy. Right click on that. Add alert on stochastic RSI. The K line is the blue line. So we want that to cross 20. We want that to cross up on the 20. And once per bar close, name it and create it, and you're good. Okay, get rid of that. Any questions on SXP? Okay, so that's the detailed approach. The next few coins I'm going to go through a little more quickly. So if you're new and you're watching this for the first time, you might want to watch it a few times to stop and start and kind of grasp the concepts. Okay, so let's go to Altcoin Alert, and we did an AA score. Another sort I like is social activity. Thanks, John, for emphasizing this. So if I see fire or a thumbs up on this, and I match that up with trading activity, that can be something worthy of further investigation. And obviously, we've looked at SXP. I think it's going to pop up in a lot of things because it's been trending this week. Also looking for some coins I like to trade. Yeah, Stellar XLM has fire on both. Let's check it out. Okay, on the 5-minute, just sitting here in the middle of the Bollinger Bands. It's these two green things, and this is the SMA line, simple moving average. And I don't like to buy here because it can go either way. Doesn't really tell me much. And if the market's trending up pretty hard, then this can be a good place to buy. Though it can bounce off this and move up again. So what I believe called squeeze trade. So we don't have a great entry at the moment. Regarding a dip and a price alert entry, I'm seeing some support here on the 5-minute chart, right around 10.85 cents. So that's probably where I would set my alert. When that triggers, reevaluate. For indicators, on the 15-minute chart, SuperTrend. The buys look really good. The sells do not. The sell would have gone badly. This one's a little bit of a fake out. We get the sell alert. Impulse MACD down here agrees. Stochastic RSI pretty much agrees too. So it does go down, but not quite 1%. And then you probably still be in that trade. It's a 1.5 against you at the moment. But the buy alerts did pretty well. So actually none of the sell alerts did. I probably just put an alert on the buy side and ignore the sells until I get, some better price action to the downside. So that's SuperTrend, Divergence. Yeah,
CJ.
Whoa, yes.
Is my
You
mic
startled me a
turned
little
up
bit.
too high?
You're
I'm
usually
sorry.
soft. You were like in my brain. Go ahead.
Excuse me. I'll lean back. I was just going to ask you about your Bollinger Bands. Do you just leave them at the default that comes like 20 days?
No.
Or
Let's look at
You
that.
changed it on the other indicator, and I was wondering
Yeah,
about these.
from my very earliest days, the very first time I set up a chart, I was instructed to not use 20, but to use 50. It's more conservative. So all my
Okay,
Bollinger Bands are 50, but you're right, 20 is the default. So,
right.
but if you go
Okay,
through the 1, 2, 3 dip training, I believe they teach that there.
50 days. I guess it was in the back of my mind somewhere. It's a good time to ask. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, where were we? Divergence. So we're getting better entries on divergence for shorts than we are on SuperTrend. But even some of those were not that great, especially this one here. Yeah. Are we still be in the, yeah, you'd still be in that trade. But some of the other short entries did well. This one did pretty well. You know, so not bad on divergence. On RSI. Entry, most of these are going to be good because this is trending up in the last couple days. Yeah, that's a really good entry there on that cross. Another cross here, crossing again. We're crossing below the 20 value, the oversold area, and coming back up. And get a nice move here. And another one here. A really good move here. So if you're trading spot, you know, the RSI might be a really good way to go for this coin. You get another nice move here. On the short side, you want to see this orange line cross and then drop below the 80, which is the overbought area. So like that happens right about here on the short side and trends up a little bit, then drops. You know, I'm not sure how that would have done. If you ignore the MACD and get in, goes against you and then down to 1.5. That's not bad if you're at 10x leverage. So another one here. Mostly sideways and then up, so the rest of them aren't good. So again, I might just trade this one up until I see a drop. Okay, any questions on Stellar XLM? Okay, let's go to look for another one. That was our social activity sort. 1 hour projected range is another one I like. I'm usually looking for values 3 or 4% or higher in this average area. The only one we have is this game credits, which I've never heard of. Sounds like a gaming token. Let's look it up. A little curious. See if it's on a real exchange. Maybe. Bittrex, it's just kicked Americans off. I got that email today. I barely used it.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, Gate.io, which is not well thought of among our friends at CryptNation. And then Uniswap, yeah, I'm not going to trade on any of these, so I'm going to pass on that one. So I don't really see a candidate here on the 1 hour projected range. Another one I like is to do long-term sentiment, match that up with the Elder Impulse. And if you want to know what that is, you can hover your cursor over here. It'll give you an explanation. But long-term sentiment is what people are talking about, the Twitter data, and the Elder Impulse is technical indicators. So it's similar to the social and the trading activity when I have, you know, Twitter data and technical data aligned, I want to look further, see if I can get a good entry. And we've got this on pre-search. Had a nice move today. And Cardano, pretty good mover today as well by its standards. I don't think pre-search can be traded on leverage, but I know Cardano can. So let's look at Cardano. Because we got to find a Friday afternoon short. Haven't seen anything looking good on the short side. Okay, on the 5-minute chart. Okay, we're in the squeeze area. Yeah, practically no distance between the Bollinger Bands, which means it's not really moving well. Kind of common on Friday afternoons. Multiple places for price alerts. We're pretty close to this one already at 40 cents. Maybe drop down to somewhere between these two. There's some support here at 39, just above 39. Again here, about 39.5, 39.6. So these are areas to put potential price alerts, all the way down here to 37.8 cents. On our indicators on the 15-minute chart, SuperTrend actually had a decent sell here. Yeah, over 1% on the sell side, but yeah, these aren't good. And that's not good. No. Yeah, eventually that's not bad. So the sells eventually worked out for about a 1% profit. So again, a 10x leverage, that's a good day trade. So the super trend would be an option on this one. I like to trade both directions, once per bar close. And this is my long-term sentiment. That's the one I use the most. So that one's the first one that's listed. And my notifications, I got this sound assigned to something else. Both my 3 notes reverb. That's my favorite. And here we go. Okay, let's look at divergence. And all the bullish ones did well. Bearish one's not bad. That one did really well. These have, I'm looking for 1% moves or more if I'm going against a trend. This is probably the one that gets you in trouble. Yeah, doesn't go that far, and then next thing you know, bam. It's not as much as I thought though, 8%. You could ladder buy on this maybe once. I probably wouldn't go more than once on shorts, or just use a stop loss. You'd probably get stopped out. So, there's only one bad entry on here for divergence, but we had a little bit better results with the super trends. That's probably the one I'd be leaning towards for my Friday afternoon short. And I like to do shorts on Friday afternoons because the mark, generally speaking, it's maybe 55-45 or 60-40. With the weekends, the volume drops some, and that's usually tends to favor lower prices. So, okay, then our stochastic RSI. On the short side, crosses down here. That's a good entry. Don't know if this one would have triggered or not. Looks like it just does hit the 80 and then drops. So you get in right about here, and eventually it would work its way down. Not bad. Similar situation here. Probably get in right about here, goes up, and then, yeah, 1% move down. And then we get across here. This one's probably the one that gets you in trouble, like the one we were looking at with divergence. Yeah, and then you're in trouble on that one. Yeah, if you're looking for a short on Friday, I like the super trend option so far. Let's see, do we have time for one more? I think we do. Any questions on Cardano? Okay, that was a long-term sentiment. And then another one I use, if I don't find anything I like with the sorts I just showed you, it's easy just to go to 24-hour change and see what's hot. You know, what's gone up the most. Or if you're looking for a short, reverse it and see what's not doing well. I mean, 1 inch and something you can trade on leverage. Don't remember if Tomo is, that's an older project. I'm not sure about that one. I have noticed when I do this sort this in this direction, most of what comes up are things I either haven't heard of or don't trade. So not sure if Lena is something can be traded on Bybit. Let's check it out. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're going to do everything the opposite. We're looking for a short. So this is for people who have had some success trading spot and they want to increase the risk, increase the profit. You get on a leverage exchange, usually through a VPN, and go at it. Don't recommend leverage above 10x. Probably 2-3x for beginners. So anyway, we're going to reverse everything and look for a short on this one. It's just steadily trending down. So what we want to see is a pump and then another drop. So put your price alert about here, where there's some resistance. You want to buy your shorts at resistance. 0.0116 cents. Some more resistance about here. 0.011825. You get the idea. I almost always use indicators for this kind of thing. On SuperTrend, this sell obviously did really well. This one did eventually. You would have had this move, probably get stopped out there. But that sell is really good. This sell does okay. You get out, almost 2% drop. Again, at 5 or 10x leverage, that's a good day trade. So that's okay. I'm not loving it. That one trade and they look pretty bad. Divergence, see if we're getting better entries. 1.5, not bad. 2% here, and then the others are obviously good. So I'm gonna grab this one. A 24-hour change sort. Okay. And then on our RSI, looking for that orange line to cross, just below the 80, across the blue line. And this entry here looks good. I won't go through all of them individually, but got another one across here. Yeah, it's the same problem. You get crushed by this one. You might have survived. This one probably not. You probably get stopped out somewhere in here. So that's not great. And this is another entry, same problem. After that move, get an entry right about here, and that's a pretty nice movement down on a short. So any questions on Lena and our weekend short option? Well, that's about all I have for Altcoin Alert then. Any other questions in general about day trading or Altcoin Alert or the markets overall? Okay, well then I'll wrap it up here. We're at about 40 minutes. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Please check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. If you're a member of Carbon and you're waiting for that Zoom, I'm not doing one because Kevin is hosting a Zoom for the Carbon beta traders starting in about 17 minutes. So I will join you on his Zoom. Otherwise, see you guys there. If you're not joining us on that, have a good weekend. We'll hopefully see you on Monday.